Welcome to the second part of our series where we are gaining understanding when there is a energetic erotic blueprint and sexual blueprint. So if you're watching this and you've come to this and you're thinking, what are we talking about? Absolutely check out our first part of this series. So welcome, Coach Lady Jin. It's really great to have you here to have more of a conversation. And Lady Jin is an erotic blueprint coach. And so we've come together because Netflix series called Sex, Love and Goop by Gwyneth Paltrow has just been released last week. And it's really, really exciting for us because there is a woman called Jaya where she goes through the 5 erotic blueprints, which we spoke about in the first video.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's really helping, it's going to help a lot of couples to understand that there is such a thing as sex language, a language in your sexuality, and it gives people ways to talk about what their, as you said in the first video, what their pleasure preferences are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, turn-ons and turn-offs, and finally we have a language for sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to be sharing some tips for specifically when there is a partner who has energetic as their primary blueprint and when the other partner has their primary blueprint as sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first video, as you said, Jin, couples might be coming to this video thinking there is a mismatch and there is a problem. And we're really framing it as an opportunity to discover and explore really what it is that really turns your partner on and actually short circuits the arousal and creates turn-offs. Yeah. And what's really beautiful about this erotic blueprints as a tool is it makes it less personal. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much, as we said before, it's not so much that you're doing this wrong. It's actually, that's not what entirely turns me on or helps me to get aroused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's as if I'm talking French and you are talking Italian, exactly. And then we think why we don't understand each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And the consequences of not understanding each other is miscommunication, misunderstanding, breakdowns in communication, and that can have really, really big impacts on a couple's sex life, on their emotional life, their sense of connection, and lots of things can sort of negatively have a knock-on effect because their intimate life isn't happening. I was going to say working, but it's not so much about that. It's not happening as they would like it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one example is if there is a difference in blueprints, such as the energetic and the sexual, then they could end up not having sex and go through periods where they're just not having it because it's not turning them on. They're not motivated to have that type of sex, not doing it doing it for them.
Yes. So I can describe it. If whoever's listening, if you happen to have this, or one of those types, you may relate quite well, is for energetic, when their turn on needs to really better happen way before any intimate touch.
Yeah.
So that includes like they have this space, they feel spacious, enjoying themselves and feel their body and feel the safety in them, feel the peace and calmness inside, and also have anticipation. Yeah. That feels like, oh, the teasing is, I know something is going to happening tonight or in the morning, right? So, and the anticipation turns them on. And, sometimes a good amount of time of waiting is better for them. It's kind of a good torture, very good torture for them. Okay, so it's hard to understand by sexual and say, oh, sexual, I want to fast and quick instant gratification. But for energetic is, oh, if I know something going to happen in 2 hours, I'm already feel the turn on in the body, and also like the consistent, regular connection, for example, from text, from listening, from hearing, and just I'm ready and more ready with more text message coming, with some visuals or some hearing, that knowing that something going to happen at a certain time, and that will help them turn on, really, right? So it sounds illogical, but that's the map for energetic. But that's where the short circuit or turn off may happen. And when that happens, energetic blueprint really will feel very shut down. As it will feel like, oh, I'm not enough. For example, I'm not enough because I cannot start my body so quickly. I cannot go from 0 to 200 miles that quickly. There's something broken in me. I'm not erotic enough. I'm not sexual enough. I don't want my partner. Is there anything wrong with our chemistry? Is there anything wrong in our relationship? The spiral can keep going. And then of course that's gonna kill everything. When energetics are in their head and keep thinking what is not working, they won't be present in their body. They won't be ready for any intimate connection.
Thank you. That's really helpful. So what we're talking about, this is where we're sharing the tips for you who's listening. What we're sharing, what can really support you as a couple, is to start to explore what your turn-ons are as the energetic and as the sexual blueprint, and what short circuits your arousal. And so how you know you're getting turned on is, it's subtle. It's more subtle. It's not, maybe for men, for example, it's not having an erection straight away. It's more subtle. It's maybe feelings of, like you said, through the text. It's maybe cuddling up on the sofa for an hour before, watching a really funny movie, looking at your partner laughing, and then thinking it's just brilliant that we're laughing together.
Feel the connection, feel the being, the presence,
feeling the connection, or another. And so then, how does that feel? That turn on feels like connection in the heart, like relaxed, like, maybe after a day after work, feeling more at ease in the body, maybe not so stressed and more connected. So it's not so, what sort of want to share that people watching, they might not be looking for the signs of turn on that we're used to seeing on the screens, where it's an erect penis, or for a woman feeling really aroused and ready for penetrative sex. It's more subtle, isn't it, for the energetic?
It's more subtle, but we can, when the partner is present, or actually it require two people in, very present. The person who is energetic is present to his or her, like it happened to any gender, right? Can present to their own anticipation, and be expressive. Like this is where, like, it's not just one person's job. Both of them needs to pay attention. Like when you feel turned on by anticipation, the energetic person can express in their own way. Like for example, I so much looking forward to seeing you tonight, or morning, if there's a couple living together, right? I really looking forward to our time together, right? You need to really let person know it's a loop, right? You are anticipating, you let people know. And then that will encourage another party will give more, because they will see that, oh, it's working. You know, you are bubbly. You know, I would say for energetic, one of the signs is the person is bubbly, like feel like light, feel more available, feels more available, not like, oh, I need more space now. I need to be alone. I need to center myself. And that's probably not very anticipation, you know. But if it's more available, more open, you know, smiley, bubbly, light-hearted, and that's a very good sign that the energetic person is present and is anticipating.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I have this image in my mind of how that can look. So let's say it's a husband and wife, and the wife, the woman is energetic, and the man is, that's her primary blueprint. The man's primary is sexual. So they're starting intimacy, and then the energetic is communicating and saying, I'm really enjoying this cuddle, like it feels really lovely to have our skin to skin contact, and I'm really enjoying your positive praise. You know, you're saying that I look and feel beautiful. So there's like the emotional connection there. And so really that partner is communicating and prolonging that to create that spaciousness and that distance.
Yes, absolutely. Another good one to use, and you can do it anywhere between a couple, is eye gazing.
Yes.
You know, that is one of the favorite things for energetic, is eye gazing. And in terms of touch, is touch without touching. So basically it means like this: you are putting your hands and your warmth and energy of your palm on top of their body. You can feel the heat, but without touching the skin yet.
So you could call it hovering.
Yes, exactly. And you can be still or hovering. Yeah. So that it's very subtle, but that will help energetics be ready. If you are skeptical, especially for sexual blueprint, if you're skeptical, I will encourage you to try. Just try. If your energetic partner likes it, that means it works. Okay, don't take my words, just try it. Although I am a coach, I know it's gonna work.
And you know, places you can hover over is like the heart space, the arms, the belly, the chest, the pelvic area, for both men and women. And if you want to see this, like for in with couples actually exploring this, like we said in the first part, definitely check out Sex, Love and Goop on the Netflix series, because it will really make much more sense what we're talking about, and it will really support you as a couple. So there's hovering touch, there's kind of light sort of, what would you call that type of touch? It's like a sort of just a brushing touch, isn't it? It's brushing path.
We call it airy touch.
Airy touch.
Called air touch, because you're touching basically the field above the skin. It's like in the air.
But then would you say for energetics, they also like just a slight touch?
Yes.
But then
very, very smooth
like
and gentle. Yeah, it's like almost like it just barely touch your skin.
Yes.
But just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, again, that creates anticipation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're sharing some of the ways that you can really build the turn-ons as a couple when it's energetic and sexual. And you mentioned about ways that can get shortcutted. And so because we haven't seen this on the screens, this kind of hovering touch or hinting anticipatory type of touch, it's so many people just don't know that type of touch exists.
Yeah, or they don't believe what that can be a turn on.
Exactly.
Yes, it can be. Yes,
that's the thing, isn't it? So you know, people really want to please their partner. So they're not going to do something like that hovering type of touch if they don't believe that that is what truly could turn on and arouse their partner. And then likewise, no one's going to, people aren't going to ask for, could you just hover over my heart or my torso area if they don't know that that's something that could potentially really turn them on.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, if we're, as a society, as couples, mainly turning towards the sexual blueprint, and we're not that as our primary, then that's really shortcutting arousal.
Yes, I would say energetic is again, there's not one type is superior than other, and they all have power, superpower, and shadow. And the more you connect with your erotic blueprint and own that, the better you can express and create a win-win situation with your partner. Because if you know you can help your partner to please you, I would say they will say, hell yeah, just tell me, what can I do?
So it's a team approach. It's getting you both on the same team, understanding each other's sex language. And so how that would look for me, I'm just imagining up a scenario. So if short-circuiting arousal is about to happen, for example, for the energetic, so maybe it's become too direct on the genitals, for example. Too early on, then the person with the energetic blueprint can say, or move the hand, or come back to, that was really lovely when we were just cuddling and kissing, or I really liked it when you were kind of giving me hinting touch on the back. And so redirecting it so that the arousal can keep building.
Yes, don't be afraid to speak up what turns you on, and also redirect your partner. And because this is an introduction, right? We're not really coaching anybody who does that, but I really trying to put in more information here, because I've seen couple, like, first myth is they think, oh, it's my partner's job to understand my pleasure, right? And that's not true. It's our responsibility to first connect with our arousal and what works for us, and be able to articulate it. And you will get better over time, for sure. You won't get perfect at the beginning, but if you keep trying, you will find it's so easy to redirect, and you won't immediately jump into like, oh, my partner just don't care, just doesn't care about me. You just redirect and say, hey, honey, I would very much like the hinted touch right now. Let's keep doing it a little longer. Is okay?
Beautiful. So let's talk about the sexual blueprints and what is turning them on and what is turning them off if their partner's energetic.
Yes, so we definitely want to give love and attention on sexual type as well. We said this is one, it feels like, oh, they got it figured out. Why they have nothing to worry about? Because so the media, that's the type, it's keep pushing to everyone, if you are sexual, you're good. That's not true, because this type is often being judged based on the explicit presentation from porn, from magazines, and for all the over exposure of oh, if you're turned on by person's body, if you love orgasm, if you love intercourse or sex, you are so sexual, you're way too sexual. You see, there's a lot of shame or judgment on sexual, right? If a person's primary blueprint is sexual, it can make this person shrink and say, oh, I need to hide myself because I cannot be that sexual.
So true. Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's this is the right word, paradoxical, or we're being fed, bombarded, is not even fed, this constant imagery of the sexual blueprint. And yet there is this subtle, well, don't be too sexual, and you can't be too can't be too sexual. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. And another thing is, sexual type can have their downtime as well, right? It doesn't mean like their hormones can always be so high and they're always ready, no matter which gender, right? The primary is sexual, but it doesn't mean that they need to stay on that state all the time. So without dive deeper into the self-understanding on what does it mean to be sexual, like they can judge themselves very harshly when they feel like, oh, something wrong with me because I suddenly don't want to have sex today, or for a week. That's also normal for them. Also normal because our body goes through changes. And also depends on how your partner reacts to you. If you happen to have a partner doesn't understand sexual well, there can be a lot of judgment. And when there's a lot of judgment, the sexual can be very starved. It may turn to porn, to masturbation, instead of reaching out for partner's intimacy.
Yes.
Or just give up and don't speak up and don't own that, I really enjoy intercourse. I really enjoy orgasm. And there's nothing wrong with it because that's how I show my love with you, with my partner.
That's so beautiful. I feel really touched because I feel that the whole reason why, we're doing this is to support couples to have more understanding, create more connection, more love, more compassion for where each other's coming from. And if we don't have that language, then how can we connect if we don't have that understanding? Yeah,
absolutely. So I would say like for if your partner as primary blueprint is sexual, but you are not, some tips I will share is first is also always acceptance, understanding. This is a blueprint.
Yes.
And distinguish it from sexual blueprint as a type versus what the mass media is presenting. Because even as a sexual blueprint, it's not always as shown as exaggerated at porn, right? So first, that I understand that will take a little bit of time to distinguish it, but it's good to have that understanding. And secondly, also know what works for sexual to turn on. It can be a challenge, especially for energetic type, to feed their sexual partner because it needs some cultivation. But some tricks they can use is to maybe not maybe this is some words they can use. You can have like a note on your phone, some words, be more explicit and direct, or some pictures, right, between you two. And you can also send when you feel like, oh, it's hard for me to speak in my partner's language, in a sexual language yet, not her or his, but I can try text first. I can use a word or picture first, and to show that I see your type and this is how you prefer to be communicated.
Yes. So because this is what we, so many of us do, isn't it? This is the thing with the love languages.
Yes.
We have a language, so we offer what we want.
Yeah.
So if we're energetic, then we're offering hovering, light, anticipatory touch.
Because that's what we think others will like too, but that's not true.
And then the primary sexual blueprint person is thinking, this is lovely. It's really not turning me on as much though. And so what's great about what you're saying is, with that dynamic, the energetic, although it doesn't come naturally to them because it's something that they're working on or cultivating, they can speak more in their partner's language with more explicit use of sexual language. And one way they can start that is to practice is through text.
Yeah, through text or through a picture, or use some of the words.
Yeah.
You can up level how explicit you want to speak. But when I work with my clients, they are a range of words, vocabulary I will give them for reference, right? I said, hey, work with your comfort level. But from experience and from a test, this language, this vocabulary feed very well to sexual type. And the same, we have vocabulary list for each blueprint.
Oh, amazing.
They can use to, they don't have to create, because how can you create without knowing the language, right? So don't worry, we have a list for you, and you can pick whichever you feel comfortable and start using it. Yeah.
So we've got some of the things that in this type of dynamic, the energetic and the sexual, the energetic can start to do. And I suppose likewise, the man or woman or person with the sexual blueprint can start to ask for that. I would really love you to send me some explicit texts while I'm at work.
Yes.
And then that can build up to, I'd really love you to say some explicit things to me when we're having sex. That really turns me on. That really arouses me.
Yeah. And the same for text also can work for energetic, but in a different way, like to send something to anticipate, to tease. You see, this is where a couple can start feeding each other without making each other wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I would really want people to take away is how can you feed each other without making each other wrong? Because the making each other wrong really can create a whole host of issues, not just in your sex life, but in your relationship.
Oh, totally. We all know how it works.
So we've got the turn-ons, and then the turn-offs is what short circuits the sexual blueprint's arousal.
Well, a lot of rejection. A lot of rejection, a lot of judgment. I think, as a human being, we are not going to be really happy with rejections in general. But when we're talking about intimate or sexual connection, here is, if you keep telling sexual type that what you want is too much, you just want a sex, you don't care about me, which is really very, very harsh on them.
I feel that when you say
it. Because they do care. But this is one of the ways, not the only way, one of the primary ways they show the care.
Yes.
So we're talking about, in a couple, in a couple dynamic, right? We're not just talking about without consent environment. That's not cases. That's not the case here. So when you are loving each other and one person feel, I have been rejected all the time. And the reason being, like, the way I show my love just doesn't mean I'm loving. That's really deadly, because basically you're telling the person, like, you don't know what they're doing, and what you're doing is wrong.
So hearing you, I can really see how easy it is for couples to have so many misunderstandings, and how painful that is for couples that are having that, and how much that can lead to the exact opposite of what they want, which is connection, intimacy, to share, give, receive pleasure, to turn on their partner, and to have their sex life as one way that they show love towards each other.
Totally. So really what we're talking about here, it's beyond having good intimacy and sex, right? Because this whole dynamic of communication, if they can be more mindful and knowing that, of course, I know that people who listen to this want to know and up-level the intimacy. I truly believe that. But if they can leverage the erotic blueprint as a language for them to communicate, as just through the few examples we showed, that can already change the dynamic. From blaming, from judgment, from criticism, to let's feed each other. Let's find a better way to feed each other, and we can both have pleasure. in a more open-minded way, in a more diverse way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. I feel like we've come to the end of our two-part series. Thank you so much, Lady Jin. I really, really appreciate. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, Emma.
Yeah. And if you've listened to this and it's been helpful, then please do leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll share. If you want to get in contact with either Lady Jin and go into more depth around erotic blueprints, then I will share the details in the comments below. And if you want to get in touch with me for any reason, then I'll share my details as well, so that you can connect with us both.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, how you think about it, or any more questions, and welcome to be in touch with us. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Lady Jin. Bye.
Bye.